It's called Stilo.ai. It's Stilo. And basically, it's like an AI powered journaling tool. And I've been using it a lot for mostly journaling like about business things. Like I'm not really talking about like my
Mhm.
personal life. I just have been using it for work stuff. Like here, okay, I'm having this issue. And then basically it will ask you questions about it. But the cool thing is that it asks you a bunch of questions to get more information out of you, and then it summarizes it at the end, which I think there's something interesting there about turning that into a social media post, like especially for a platform like
Yes.
LinkedIn.
The real estate biz is drastically changing, and modern real estate success can't be learned in some old course manual. This is everything they never told you about real estate, where industry leaders expose secrets to success, contemporary lead generation, and how to dominate social media. All moderated by your host, the real estate goat and queen of social media, Carrie Sauvé.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm your host, Carrie, and I have a very special guest today. I'm actually super grateful that she took the time out of her busy schedule to join us, Haley Ingram. She is the founder and owner of Coffee and Contracts, which is a social media assistant platform. I feel like that's the best way to describe it. Haley, thank you so much for coming on today. Why don't we start out by you just explaining exactly what the company does?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited for this. So Coffee and Contracts is basically a membership platform for real estate agents. We provide social media templates, marketing guide templates, all the templates you can think of, captions, content ideas, and then we have a community with all of our members as well. It started because I was a real estate agent, so that's kind of where it came from.
Yeah. And from what I read about you, like many realtors out there, you just weren't a fan of door knocking and doing all these traditional methods of prospecting. Girl, I am the exact same way. I've been a realtor for 14 years and I've built my entire business on social media the entire time. So I like amen to that because there is a better way out there.
Yes, I love that. Yeah, I remember when I was an agent, I was starting out and they were like, you gotta cold call and door knock. You gotta be like this agent who cold calls 100 times a day. And I was like, why are we doing that when we can use social media? It's free and it feels a lot more natural and it actually worked. So it worked out.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So here's my first question because I'm super curious about this. Out of all the platforms, which one is your favorite right now?
Instagram is my favorite for business, of course. I feel like as a
Mhm.
consumer of social media, I spend a lot of time on TikTok. The
Yeah.
algorithm is just knows me so well. It can just keep me hooked for hours. Unfortunately, I probably should
Right?
spend less time on there. But Instagram is basically the majority of what I talk about, and pretty much because that's how, when I was an agent, that's what I saw success in, and that's what I was using. But another
Mhm.
platform that I've been talking about a lot is YouTube as well. We just had Tom Story. He's an agent in Canada who like talks about YouTube all the
Yeah.
time. He just did a training in our group, and it's just like when you're looking for how to do something, you go to YouTube to search how to fix my refrigerator, how to whatever, how to buy a house. So he actually like generates a lot of leads from YouTube. So I've been really interested in that, even though I haven't used YouTube as much as I want to.
Yeah. Um, so I have to agree with you. Instagram for me is where my business is done, but I
Hmm.
feel like the drive of the business may be coming from TikTok. So
Ooh,
that's quite
interesting.
interesting, right? So I feel like I'm getting attention on TikTok. And then because my accounts are linked, like I have a link in my bio, I'm getting the business on Instagram. And I don't know if you're a fan of ManyChat. I'm a huge fan of it. Changed my entire business.
Love it.
But it's easier. Like you can't go wrong if you can build complete funnels inside of Instagram. Like how can you go
Yeah.
wrong? It's
That's a good point. Yeah, I've been loving mini chat. It's such a good tool.
yeah. I one platform that I think is underrated big time and that I've been doing a lot of work with AI in is LinkedIn. So
Ooh,
yeah, there's a lot of really cool AI tools out there for LinkedIn that will
mm,
create better content, which is good, but I like the automation. So I'm an
yeah.
automation girl. I love
Mm-hmm.
automations, and what's the one I'm using Taplio, and then Meet Alfred is my newest favorite AI tool, and it enables you to send automated automated flows that start with a connection request, as well as
Ah,
LinkedIn messages, and you can hyper target who you're doing this to based on Sales Navigator, which is like the LinkedIn Pro.
wow.
It's a game changer, I feel like, for anybody. So how obviously neither of us are really we're not in production anymore. So who
Mm-hmm.
we're targeting is going to look a lot different than realtors. So just off the top of
Yeah.
my head, if I was a practicing realtor, how would I use LinkedIn and these cool automation, AI automations? I feel like agent attraction for,
Mm-hmm.
anybody at a brokerage that attracts, or team leaders, or brokerage owners. Also, maybe
Yeah, I
pre-con.
think yeah, that could be a great tool, and even just for connections for referrals as well. Like for the agent attraction, I think that's a good way that you could use it. So does it so someone invites to connect with you, or you invite to connect with someone and they accept it, and then it messages them automatically?
Yeah, and even you can set it up with several messages, even a connection request message, which is great. And
Wow.
again, you can hyper target this. Like right now, I've got awful, but I have one running for agents. In a certain location that have had their license for a certain many of years. So I'm targeting newer agents. You can get
Interesting.
really, really specific with your lead list that you're importing into Alfred, which is
One
really
thing that could be really
cool.
cool for you to do too could be that message that you send them says, "Hey, this is actually an automation. If you want to learn how to do this," and then like you are
Right.
showing them the automation, like by using
Right.
it, like call it for what it is, and then be like, "But I can show you how to do this. It's a great tool."
Yeah, I feel like lead magnets are where it's at when you're running anything, obviously,
Hmm.
right? It's all about lead magnets. And I feel like I'm shocked every day at the amount of realtors that I talk to that don't even know that concept or even what a funnel is. And I'm trying to educate as many people as possible on this kind of stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. There
Yeah.
is a I've been using a lot of well, we've been teaching agents a lot about using we use Flowdesk for our trainings and everything. But just like lead magnets, having a landing page that you're sending everyone from Instagram. We show them how to set up mini chat if they want, but it's not necessary. But sending them to a landing page that says download my free guide, whatever the guide is that is a valuable incentive to their target audience. So like we have a couple guides in coffee and contracts that are like the perfect weekend in your city, spring guide to your city, buyer guides, things like that. So
Yeah.
I've been talking a lot about lead magnets lately.
Okay. So I have something for you. And maybe this is something we should talk about at a later date.
Mm-hmm.
Um, my next step, so I'm really into like developing custom GPTs that have really tight parameters. Um, I feel like my knowledge in social media and as a content creator, and then as a realtor and a prompt engineer, gives me this unique ability to create better GPTs than the developers out there. So that being
Mm,
said, I'm obviously creating tons for realtors. I
mm-hmm.
think the next phase is creating custom GPTs for buyers and sellers,
Mm.
and using them as lead magnets. So maybe we should talk.
Yeah, that's super interesting. That's super cool. I've been loving creating GPTs. I use them mostly for our like in stuff, and
Yeah.
but hopefully soon we'll have something for members to generate content for their own social media and everything, and emails and whatever. But yeah, that's a good idea. That's very interesting.
Yeah, because you can actually program it to, after the GPT provides it a response, to, ask it if it wants more information about whatever your thing is, and providing
Mm,
a website or a landing page.
yeah, that's awesome. We should
I'm
definitely
such a
talk more
geek
about
when it
that.
comes to this stuff. I am
I
such a
love
geek
it.
when it comes to this stuff.
I love
Okay,
it.
let's get back
I
to
could spend all day.
yeah, let's get back to social media for a second, because I just want to like talk about all the different platforms. Now, Gary Vee talks a lot about, and I really agree with his what he thinks about all the different platforms, and you should be on all of them. And
Hmm.
obviously you're going to generate most of your business from one, but it doesn't mean that's not being fed by the other platforms, because I find it's hard to really gauge, especially with LinkedIn. You have no
Hmm.
idea how many people are watching you until you
Mm,
actually talk to somebody that comes in and messages you. And it's like,
yeah.
yeah, so you can't really gauge where everybody's coming from if you're using all the platforms. You just know where they're ending up, which is usually
Hmm.
Instagram. So, would you agree that a realtor should be on every platform possible?
I always say no. I usually say to, I would say like I mean, it totally depends on the agent and like if, you know, it depends on the agent and how much they're willing to put into this. But I think I typically say like start with one platform and then slowly add, other ones. But I mean, it just depends on how much this person is putting into their like online content creation. And I think a lot of times like we'll focus on just Instagram and then neglect all of the other ones. So it's not to say you can't have them, because I mean, I have a TikTok, a LinkedIn, a YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and I'm only focusing on Instagram, but I want to focus on the other ones. I think it's just like I don't want them to be hard on themselves for not being able to, do all of it, because like I do the content creation is pretty much like full time for me. It's like what I
Okay.
do. And I still can't keep up with all of them. What's your take on that?
I feel like with the advancement in technology and especially AI, it's easier to repurpose for every platform. Is it still a
Mm,
commitment? Yes. One of the things, so I have a pretty solid brand already, right? Like I've been out there
mm-hmm,
for like 14 years. So I don't pay as close attention to SEO specific to each platform as I should, because I find I don't have to. However, my
mm-hmm,
advice to newer agents hitting social media is, your message and your captions on all the platforms should be different and
mm,
appeal to the audience on each platform. Like, you don't want your TikTok caption being the same on LinkedIn. Whereas I
yeah.
don't care, but like, do what I say, not what I do. But so to make things easier, what I did was I created a custom GPT that understands the SEO on each platform specifically, and the audience on each platform, and will create, like, with a description of the post or video, will create SEO optimized captions for every single platform at once. And
Mm,
that's helping with that, because I do think that these agents jumping into it, they really need to be careful of that, right? Like their message should be a
yeah.
little bit different. Um
Mm-hmm.
but again, like, you're on Instagram, like I think I posted a duet with Gary Vee, and he's like, "Oh, so you don't want to be on every platform? You just want to be on Instagram because you don't want to annoy people?" Like 17 people saw your video. Like, trust me, you're not annoying anybody, Like, what does it
Yeah.
hurt? That's my whole philosophy. What does it hurt if you're going to get seen by more people, right? That's my
Yeah, that's a great point.
personal thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it definitely helps to have real estate on all the platforms as well. And I think like you said, each platform is so different. And I think one of the really cool things about like YouTube, for example, like I'd say it's like YouTube, TikTok, and Pinterest primarily. And I feel like Instagram is starting to kind of get there, but the lifetime of the content is so much longer than Instagram's content. So like people are going to discover your YouTube video from 2 years ago could go viral. And like, so I feel like that's something to consider, is just like all the platforms, like you said, are so different.
Yeah. Howard, and you're on YouTube now?
I am, but I'm not on it as much as I want to be. My goal for this year, I think I like declared at the beginning of the year, like I'm doing YouTube 1 video a week, and then I didn't do that. I just like long form content for me is for some reason so much harder. Like I think I get very overwhelmed, and I think a little bit of it is perfectionism. Like I'm like, oh, I just want every little piece of it to be perfect, but it's so different than like the short form content, because people aren't listening. I mean, it depends on the video, but for a lot of it, people are just looking for someone to kind of listen to longer, and it doesn't have to be perfect. They want to kind of like hear a natural voice talking, like a podcast. Like, it's not like it has to be short and snippy like a TikTok, like they can kind of hang out with you and like, I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, I've been on YouTube for, I want to say, a year now. And I literally didn't start YouTube to get any kind of audience because it's just such a different beast, and it wasn't something that I wanted to put any effort into whatsoever. Okay.
Yeah.
So I used YouTube as a means to feed interactive video to my database. That was like the sole purpose, because like my CRM, KV Core, gives us the ability to embed YouTube right in there with the beautiful thumbnail and all that good stuff. And I know that my engagement went up significantly on my database, which is great. So that's really the only reason I did that. Posted like my hugest hack for YouTube is I created this podcast so I would have long form content. Just put it out there. Like, and then once I did that, so that's a once a week long form video. And now I have also like 10 to 15 clips of gold for my short form as well. And I'm recording like 40 minutes a day, like a week, sorry. So I feel like, but I've noticed my following is like pathetic, but it's growing about 10 followers a week, which I think is pretty good.
Yeah, that's great.
One of the things I use is vidIQ. Because after talking to these SEO experts that, go into your inbox and tell your YouTube sucks and that you need to like purchase their services, one let it slip that he uses AI like vidIQ. And I'm like, I'm already using that. How am I going to pay somebody to do the same thing? Right. So it has helped. Yeah, but like, I don't get my videos professionally edited. I do it myself with AI powered video editors. It's all very, very expensive. And that's another reason I love AI so much, because it's affordable leverage, right? It's making all of these things more accessible to people that don't want to spend thousands and thousands of dollars on, marketing companies. And essentially, Haley, you're giving accessible and affordable leverage as well through your company, because to hire a good marketing company to do all your shit, you're looking at thousands of dollars a month, right? So, and you're really affordable. So I just want to point that out. You are also affordable leverage, Haley.
We are. Yeah. We take all the guesswork out for you. What was the tool you said? Bid AI. What does it do for YouTube videos?
vidIQ. So it will assess it'll assess your competitors. It will make suggestions based on YouTube SEO for topics. It will script your videos. It will give you titles, descriptions, thumbnail backgrounds, tags. Like it gives you everything, and then it gives you like a score. And it only does YouTube. So I wanna believe that it knows what it's doing.
That's amazing.
But you never know.
I need to write that down.
Try it out. And I have another thing I want to share. So I was approached by a company who believes in 24-hour live streaming on YouTube is actually more profitable in subscribers and actual leads than YouTube ads. So
what do you
that's
even
something
stream?
Yeah, so like it basically just plays all of your video live, and the way the YouTube algorithm works, apparently it favors lives over any other type of video on YouTube. So it gives it as much exposure as like your paid ads would get. And they swear
Wow.
by this. But of course, this is an expensive service. So here comes me. I'm going to figure this out by myself, you know?
Yeah.
Like I don't have enough going on right now, right?
That's hilarious. Wow,
So
that's
that's something to look
crazy.
into. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
that
thought that
reminds
was
me of
really
like
wild.
it's like a cable television network. Like they want everyone to just be live all the time so you can flip between different channels. Super interesting.
Well, think about it this way. So I don't know about you, but one thing I do every single night, I'm all about like manifestation and mindset. So when I go to sleep to I don't know, like a Bob Proctor meditation or something.
Yeah.
And when I'm scrolling through, I see a lot of lives that is, I'm pretty sure are just going for 8 hour program to go for 8 hours straight. So
Yeah.
it's happening already. And I know, do you know Gogo Bethke?
Yeah. I don't
So
know her
she's one of my
personally,
best
but I've
friends.
seen her.
She's one of my best friends, and she used the service and it blew up her YouTube.
Wow.
So I'm
That's
like, how do
super
I,
interesting.
yeah, something to look into because you're getting into YouTube. So why not explore every avenue, right? What do you think about Threads?
I was in there in the beginning and I've been out of it. But I mean, I've noticed that just as like a consumer, that you'll get a notification when someone that you posted a thread, or at least on my accounts, I have seen that. And now threads are showing up in the feed. So I'm like, okay, that's probably a good tool to use because they're pushing those out. So, but I've been wanting to experiment with them more. I feel like people aren't necessarily like scrolling through threads, but they're scrolling through Instagram and they might see your thread come up there. What is your take on threads?
I'm on Twitter and Threads. Again, I'm just repurposing my stuff everywhere. Like it's just what I'm doing, and
Mm,
it's honestly, it's working for me. I'm getting massive brand awareness, massive.
yeah.
Um, but I know I'm not doing it properly, and I'm experimenting and looking into a couple of AI tools that are specific to Twitter, which obviously Threads is the same thing. So,
Hmm.
the people that I love myself on Threads and Twitter are people like Alex Hormozy
Hmm.
and Gary Vee, because they're sharing really cool statements. Like they're doing it properly. They're not
Hmm.
necessarily sharing video. However, I'm not opposed to that, and that's all I put out there anyways. But I feel like they're using AI to do this.
Yeah. Oh,
And
yeah.
I'm going to build an automation that does this automatically for me. I just need to take
Mm,
the time to do it, right? There's only one of me, so I'm just like
yeah. So you got to build the bots.
yeah,
Yeah.
I need to build out the automation, and
Hmm.
I'll get to it at some point, but there's so many other things to do first.
Yeah.
um
There's
yeah,
there's
so
one tool that this is like kind of off topic, but I just thought you would like this tool.
yeah.
It's called Stilo.ai. It's Stilo. And basically it's like an AI powered journaling tool. And I've been using it a lot um for mostly journaling like about business things. Like I'm not really talking about like my
Mhm.
personal life. I just have been using it for work stuff. Like here, okay, I'm having this issue. And then basically it will ask you questions about it. But the cool thing is that, I mean, it asks you a bunch of questions to get more information out of you. And then it summarizes it at the end, which I think there's something interesting there about turning that into a social media post, like especially for a platform like
Yes.
LinkedIn. Or and then the cool thing is that it remembers every conversation that you've ever had. So when you log in, it has like 5 prompts and it's all about like, how are you doing on this goal? And like, how is this going for you? It like remembers everything. And like, as you're talking with it, it'll bring up things like, oh, that's kind of reminds me of what you dealt with that. It's insane. And I
Oh
feel
my
like it's a
god.
really interesting tool for like those like personal anecdote types of content that like do well on LinkedIn, or like even an Instagram caption or something
Oh,
like that.
that's a
Yeah.
great idea. And you know what? I'm going to try that out. Thank you so much for that. I love to hear about
I love
anything
it.
really unique that people are using, right? Unique
Yeah.
isn't like common. Like it's common now, right? Like I don't know.
Yeah. There's so many exciting new
um
things that are coming out.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. I just read today. So let's talk a little bit about AI. I'm over the social media right now. Let's talk about AI. Let's talk a little bit about AI. I read an update today that ChatGPT and OpenAI are going to be building out capabilities for more accessible actions. So I don't know if you looked into Hyperwrite, and I know the technology already exists. So Hyperwrite is like ChatGPT on a smaller scale, and you ask it to, produce something, and it produces it, but it can take actions as well. So I'll say, go to LinkedIn and grab all this person's contact data and then throw it in my Google Drive and an Excel sheet, like stuff like that. And it opens up a window where I can literally watch it, log into my account. Yeah. So it's called Hyperwrite,
Wow.
AI.com, I think. And you have to check it out because so therefore the technology already exists, which we already know actions, right? It's just automations. It's been there for a while. But to have it built into an LLM is going to be a game changer. So right now, the ChatGPT, you can build custom GPTs that do actions, like send something out to a third party and then retrieve it. But that's kind of developer heavy right now. So with this update, the actions are going to be way more accessible and look a lot more like what Hyperwrite's doing, which is super cool. I'm sure it'll require your login because the reason Hyperwrite works and can log into your stuff for you is because it's an actual Chrome extension, right? And ChatGPT is not. So I'm sure you'll have to log in, but I'm super excited about that. And I'm excited about video analysis because we have picture analysis, we have document analysis, video analysis is coming. So I built workflows, Haley, to help people with their social media using AI. I believe that AI will not generate business itself. Unless it's applied to like a money generating system. Does that make sense? So
Yeah.
I believe that we can waste more time on AI if we're not applying workflows to the AI. So I built a workflow around social media where it basically rips off viral content. It uses about 4 AI tools. So the workflow looks like this. You find a content creator in your niche and they're killing it. Their framework's on point. Their videos are working. So you download that video, you throw it in one AI tool that transcribes the video. I use Wizard to do that with a V. So it's like Wizard with a V. It transcribes the video and then you paste that into ChatGPT with a prompt that's going to rewrite it in your tone, keeping the framework.
Wow.
So it's rewriting the viral content. You shoot it, you edit it with AI powered video editors, and then you either manually post it or use like Loomly or something else, like another tool to do that. But it's working really well and people are loving it.
That's amazing.
So that's what so I build these workflows. That's like my specialty. Is how we can apply it to something that's like really gonna save us time. Save us time.
It's funny because I've been manually doing that, like, researching viral videos and then I'll just study them and figure out why they're viral. And like I have a folder saved on Instagram that's like videos, real structures. And then so it's just like, okay, this person did a B-roll video. It's just her working, and there's like just like for sake of example, like a motivational quote on top of it with trending audio. Like this is probably like why this one went viral. It's a good quote, whatever. So that's super interesting. I love that. I love turning it into like a workflow as well.
And you can automate it too with either like make.com or Zapier. You should check Talk Backup because that will find the viral content for you, the viral creators, and assess the content. And if you want to break it down even more and you just want to analyze the video, you can do that just by transcribing it and having conversations with ChatGPT. But imagine when ChatGPT can now analyze video, what that's going to look like for people like you and me.
Yeah, that's insane.
Right now I'm doing third party, right? Multi-step, leaving ChatGPT, going back in, right? Which is fine. But I just want a platform where I could do everything. So that'll be super helpful. Super
Yeah,
helpful.
I know. That's going to be amazing. What are we going to talk about then?
I know, right? Oh, geez. Um,
There'll always be something.
I think, yeah. So where do you see, what's your favorite AI tool? How about that one? Besides the one that you told me about.
Yeah. Oh, I feel like that one would have been my answer. I should have saved it. I use ChatGPT for mostly everything. I'm trying to think if there's any others.
That's good.
I mean,
I love that answer, Nelly. I love that
Yeah.
answer because ChatGPT is the LLM that powers every frigging tool out there. So
Yeah.
it is so important for us and realtors to learn prompt engineering and how to communicate effectively and build prompt stacks within ChatGPT because
Mhm.
it can do everything better than any tool out there because that's the source of every tool.
Yeah. I was just talking to someone recently and they said, "Oh, I didn't know you can talk back to it." I was like, "Oh no, you've been missing out."
Oh
I was
my
like,
God. Send them
sometimes
over to me.
you have to bully ChatGPT a little bit to get what you want. You got to say, "No, I didn't mean it like that," and yell at ChatGPT.
Yeah. I got a tip for you. There is some research that shows that if you offer ChatGPT money, it will produce better content. Just putting it out there.
What do you say? I'll give you.
I'm going to tip you like $100 if you give me the best possible response, and it'll go up $20
Whoa.
for every scale yeah.
I have to try that. That's
Personally,
amazing.
I would literally just got right into the custom instructions.
Yeah, but now I'm worried that ChatGPT, something's going to happen like in an apocalyptic movie, and it's going to say, "You owe me money" at the end. It's going to be like, "All right, we're adding it all up, and you actually owe me a lot of money."
Okay, so I was listening to a podcast or a YouTube video. I don't remember who it is, and I really want to give them credit for this. Sorry about my language. But it was somebody famous, and they were like, I am not worried. So they were asked, are you worried about AI taking over? And he's like, or are you worried about the future with AI? And his thing was, as long as it's not humans against AI, we're okay. Right? Like as long as it's human against human and using AI, we're all going to be fine. You know what I mean? Like there's nothing to worry about because what technology is available to one person will be available to other people and we will just keep learning off of each other. But the time we need to worry is when it turns into humans against AI. Then it's time to panic, right?
Yeah, absolutely. That's funny.
Super accurate. Where do you see, how do you feel like AI is going to impact the real estate market over the next, let's say 2 years, because usually this question would be 5 years, but we know that AI moves so quickly, it's just changing everything.
Yeah. I mean, gosh, I don't know. I mean, I've seen the people say that they think that like AI will be assisting in, agent websites and like you were saying, kind of like the bots that can help point. But I feel like we've had that. We've had the chat bots that can point the user in the right direction, but I guess they'll just be a lot better. I guess maybe even like AI powered home search tools. And I feel like maybe like housing market updates maybe will get more, I don't know, like just more accurate or more elaborate. But I don't know. Or agents are just going to be so good at content creation because they're using AI properly.
Right? And it's it really makes you wonder. I feel like AI and social media is so important now because of AI. And the reason I think that is because agents are going to have to be searchable on AI. And in order to be searchable on AI, and I've had this conversation with ChatGPT, you need to have a massive amount of valuable content out there. And there's no other way to provide that than through social media. And that is why social media is going to be so important for realtors, because then we can be discoverable through AI, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Ooh, that's interesting.
Right? Right? I'm actually, do you know who Neil Patel is?
I think so. Yeah.
Oh, he's amazing. I love him for like SEO. He owns answerthepublic.com,
Okay.
which is like one of my hacks for getting ideas
Yeah.
for,
Okay. Yeah. I'm
for videos
familiar.
and stuff.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he's so brilliant. And I just signed up for a webinar on his website on how to be discoverable on AI. And I thought that would be
Wow.
really interesting to watch. So that's where
Yeah.
I kind of see the future of real estate agents. I think that the landscape's going to look a lot different because now we have affordable leverage, so it's just going to be a free for all. It's a free for all right now, right?
Yeah.
Like the agent with
So,
the money for a marketing team isn't going to win now. It's
yeah.
that's out of play, right?
Yeah. So I'm curious, I haven't heard a lot about this, but I'm very interested now. I need to research this. But does discoverable by AI mean like that AI is going to be like a search platform like Google, or does it mean like you should have AI
Oh yeah.
tools that people can discover you through or something?
Probably both, but yeah, I foresee ChatGPT to rival Google in terms of search.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, I use
Yeah.
it for search now as well. Sometimes I'll say research Haley Ingram and copy and contracts, and it'll say, okay, here it is. And I'll say, okay, that it's me. I'm Haley Ingram. Now can you help me with this? So it knows who I am before we get started.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. You're so funny. Yeah, I love that. It's definitely something to consider though. And my estimate is the importance of that is going to be 1.5 to 2 years. It's going to be a lot sooner than people think. Because more and more people are experimenting with ChatGPT. And as the new updates come out and it becomes easier to use, more people are going to use it.
That's super,
Like
super
you said, you're
interesting.
using it all the time for searching things, right? So it's only a matter of time before the majority of the public is doing the same thing. And then we've got a whole other, what are we going to call it? It's not going to be called SEO. It's going to be called AIEO.
Yeah, it's going to be called
Why in
AIO.
that term?
We were the first to discover it. That's so interesting.
We made that up here right now. What time is it?
We're declaring. That's amazing.
As for like the future of AI for everybody, we're in the middle of a revolution. So remember, like we're not in the industrial revolution. I think we're in the like technology revolution or something. I think that any job that has is built on tasks is going to be irrelevant at some point, and the people that are going to make money are going to be the idea people. So we're going to shift, like we have shift before, out of physical labor to industrial labor. There's going to be another shift with AI, and we're going to shift out of task oriented, jobs and into idea oriented positions. And if you aren't an idea person, I feel like you're gonna have problems.
Yeah. Start getting creative.
Yeah, let's just scare the shit out of everybody today.
Like start saving.
Oh, I know, right? Oh, geez.
Wow, I love that. That's very interesting.
Yeah.
Super interesting to think
I
about.
love AI. Actually, like as a woman in the space, like I've just like taken it and run with it. And being a woman, I'm very pleased at the amount that our industry leaders have embraced me. So I'm very grateful for that. Because tech is not a female industry, female dominated industry. And if I could share a secret with you, I literally have no tech background or neither computer skills
Yeah.
before this. I'm
Uh-huh.
an ideas person though. So I'm all about systems and all of that stuff and efficiencies. So that was like my strength and I decided to use it. But
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah. I feel like you have to be resourceful, and I feel like that's kind of what sets people apart in that.
yeah, we're just two women building some empires that are literally helping a massive amount of other people in business. And that's what it's all
Yeah.
about. Okay, so Haley, what do you think what is the first tip that you would suggest for anybody getting into social media and AI for the first time? What would you suggest?
Yeah, so I think that it can really help to get clarity around what your brand is going to look like on social media and whatever platform you're choosing. So I would recommend going to ChatGPT and just kind of putting in there a little background information about you, and ask it to ask you questions to help you get clarity on who your target audience is, what your content pillars should be, what your content strategy should be, and try to just gather. I mean, that's a good way to start using AI, and also to get clarity around how you want to show up on social media. So you can also ask it to give you content pillars to focus on, and then assign each content pillar to a day of the week. That's one thing that I recommend for anyone starting out is maybe for a month, try doing, Mondays, you do a motivational reel. Tuesdays, you do buyer tips or tips for your target audience. And, each day has a specific type of content that you're doing. And then at the end of the month, you can look at your insights and see what's performing well, what isn't, and then continue to do more of what's working well and do less of what isn't, or try new things. Yeah, that's kind of my tidbits on getting started on social media.
I love that. And you know what? I'm actually going to send you an email after this. I have some amazing prompts for creating a content matrix and
Oh,
discovering your unique value proposition.
that
So I'm
sounds
going to share
amazing.
those with you actually. Haley, it has
Please
been
do.
so great having you on today. It's so refreshing to talk to such a woman in this business who's like literally creating something that's helping thousands and thousands of people and using AI to do it because, it's my love. So thank you
It's
so
close
much
to
for
your
coming
heart.
on today. Thank you. I
AI
really
is my
appreciate
love language.
it. Yes,
Thank you so
yes.
much.